What's up, everybody? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome to those of you who are going to be listening to this as a podcast. Welcome to those who are watching us live on Facebook, and also the video content version of this is now available in the DJ's Vault. So if you're a member and you want to watch us on video, especially Mike in a tank top,
look at that.
Boom.
Sun's out, guns out.
That's right.
I usually try to time my Wednesday mornings to be done with my workout, shower, and then get on. But today I was just running a little late.
That's all right. It's okay, man. You practice what you preach. You did a workout, so I appreciate that. So, my name's Joe Bunn. That is Mike Walter, and the gentleman there, as always, in triple black, is Mr. Aaron Traylor.
Hey guys,
right out of Nashville,
how you doing, Aaron?
Tennessee. Just a quick, I'll give you a quick little background on myself and Aaron and how we know each other. And he and I, we were just talking about how he knew Mike, which is through Mobile Beat, and that's how I know him as well. We sat down and had a conversation, I guess 2 years ago at Mobile Beat, and stayed in touch ever since. Started a project together 2 or 3 months ago called Crate Hackers, which was really his idea that he pitched to me early in the summer, maybe early in the quarantine phase, I guess, as well, with a different name. It was called what was it again?
Perfect. I liked it. I hated the name on this. Oh, stop it.
So long.
PerfectDJPlaylist.com. Yeah, that is quite a mouthful.
I hated it.
Crate Hackers.
And I was like, it
definitely rolls off the tongue.
Right. And I was like, it needs a rebrand, and I don't think you're going to be able to take money through this site. And I don't know, man. Like, I feel like it's such a great product. And at the end of the day, I'll let Aaron explain what it is. We're not here to sell you anything. We're not here to really talk about that. We're actually going to be talking about the future of DJing today. Mm-hmm. So that's really our topic. But Aaron, kind of just give them a 30-second elevator pitch on what Crate Hackers is.
I guess the best way to put it would be, it's not a record pool.
Right.
It's a playlist pool. Somebody did a deeper dive and said that it was more so a playlist pool in a sense, like a yellow pages, a directory to find the right song. And you can spend hours in a record pool surfing and trying to find the right edits and such, with very little guidance. Like, what is the song that tests the best on wedding dance floors? What works best in a school dance function? What is hot on the radio right now that also transcribes into a floor filler? We do all that research because we, on a weekly basis, bring a group of quote unquote hackers into the room. Mm-hmm. And it's really one of the coolest focus groups. I mean, I don't think there's anything quite like it in the sense that you have let's say 100 DJs discussing one topic. Okay, we're going to fill a crate of music that works best for this scenario. And you're getting all this input. Everyone pitches in their 5 songs. And then by the time we're done, we will blend all the songs together, and we make these playlists that essentially sound great together in terms of tempo and harmony, and it's just ready to rip and go. So maybe you have a DJ who's new to the game, somebody who doesn't know music as well as a vet. We can give them a template and say, okay, be ready for requests, be ready for reading the crowd. But if you just want to know what songs work well together, that's what Crate Hackers
do you record the brainstorming sessions?
We do.
Yeah,
every Tuesday.
That's what I want to see.
Oh, yeah.
That sounds like where the gold is. I'd love to hear, and I don't know who these DJs are, but I'm sure they're respectable people in the industry. I'd love to hear them bouncing ideas off of each other.
It's really cool too, because
the end product, but I'd love to see how you get there.
Yeah, and the chat is where it's really lighting up. So basically you can upvote a song. So let's just say whatever, all time party rockers, Usher, and you'll see people, like that,
Right.
And then somebody will throw in a curveball, and people are like, oh, I didn't think of that, So it's these hackathons have been really cool. And
Very cool.
Anyway, we've got a great membership. We closed it down, and we'll be reopening August 20th. So if you want to sign up for the reopening or to see what we're going to launch that night, it's noseratoface.com. We get it. Yes, there's virtual DJ. Yes, there's Tractor. We just, I don't know.
And for the uninitiated, What is Serato face?
It basically looks, if I'm looking at my computer, which I'm doing now, it's this look right here.
Yeah, like you're checking your
searching.
email.
Yeah, the crowd is out there partying, and I'm just going.
Yeah.
And I'm sharing, and I hadn't quite, and I got deleted files, and they're not organized, and some are capitalized, some are lowercase.
Like a girl could be hitting on you. A girl could literally be hitting on you from across the DJ booth, and you're staring at your computer, not catching that body language. So you missed your opportunity right there.
I look at video footage of my DJs all the time,
right?
And, raw footage, and every once in a while I'll pull a clip out where one of my guys looks like that, packed dance floor, everything else, and
zombied out.
And I go, dude, you don't look like you're entertaining right now. You know, what
right?
I mean? And if I and I'm sure everyone has realized it, but that's where the prep comes in. The more you prepare,
that's right.
The less time you spend staring at a computer screen.
Exactly. Yep. Exactly.
Yeah.
Couldn't agree.
Hey, Aaron, before I know we're having you on to talk about the future of DJing, which
please. That's really the main topic.
We're going to get to in 30 minutes, which is amazing. But I did some Facebook stalking. Have you moved into this apartment yet?
Oh, the Music Row Apartments.
Oh my God, the place looks like paradise.
Paradise.
It really, really is. We
when
we
this
realized
thing is over, I want to come visit.
Yeah,
the invite always open. My girlfriend and I are moving in together, so in essence, we're actually saving money by combining our income, and we decided that we're gonna just try the city life. You know, we've always been kind of the suburbs out in the middle of nowhere, but we thought, okay, before we retire, we're gonna go right into the center of Nashville, Tennessee.
Dude, it looks. So when do you move in?
September 1st, and it's about a block away from where Elvis recorded his first album. Right outside my window, I can see ASCAP and BMI, and
yeah, it's
cool. All right,
Music Row, man, Music Row. Mm-hmm. So for those of you who don't know, Aaron does private events in Nashville. He also is a radio disc jockey. I think he's got a syndicated show, a daily or weekly show, and then also is the official DJ for the Johnny Cash family. So that's right. Very this guy's got a lot of cred to have only been there 4 or 5 years. So anyway, he was just here in Raleigh with me and Dominic and shooting content and photographs and brainstorming for this Crate Hackers thing. So we're super excited about that. But in the meetings last week, we met for 3 days in a row and then shot stuff all day on the 4th day. We talked a lot about, where Crate Hackers was going, and especially these super detailed crates or playlists that he creates, in which not only are the songs presented to you, in a BPM sorted format, but also in a by their energy, by their happiness, and by their harmonics, whether you can mix in key or not.
Right. And
each of these playlists are then replicated across all the streaming platforms.
Right.
So what I want to talk about today, and Mike and I think have a different vantage point than you do. I thought you were like 12, but he's actually like 40, late 40s.
Quiet.
Anyway, I thought he was like 12 or something, but we got to the bottom of that last year. So it's not even an age difference thing, but you do believe, Aaron, that streaming DJing is going to be very soon to come, right? I mean, I know that, listen, I am very well aware that, I'm a Serato user. I can see Tidal. I've actually, done a dinner playlist before DJing off Tidal. I know that Spotify, I think, or one of the other ones works really well with virtual. But you believe truly that the era of the MP3 is soon to follow the era of the cassette tape or the CD, correct?
Right.
Walk us through where you are on this subject.
And I really want to get Mike's input on this because I read his comment after I made that dystopian prediction about how MP3s are going to the wayside.
Dystopian? Let me write this down. I got to look this up later.
This is going to get dark. Trust me. I hate to say it, as much as I'm a positive thinker, I really believe that we're looking to the point where we're going to own everything. We're going to have access to everything, but we're going to own nothing. That's a very scary thought. If you think about it, you buy a video on Comcast or Xfinity, sure, you're buying it for $14.99, but do you really own it? The same thing is
when everybody
happen.
had the DVD collection. It's like you actually owned.
Yeah, the physical media is no longer going to be happening. And I believe that, MP3s, even though they are started on a hard drive, that's still considered physical media in the eyes of the record labels. I think the best way to begin would be to roll back to phases before all this began. Some of you may recall, before Serato, there was a box that came out, and I believe it was pre-tractor days. It was this round disc, almost like a hockey
exactly
puck.
what you're talking about, Aaron.
Yeah, and it had the USB inputs on the top of it. I remember seeing this in the back of this catalog, and it was a Pro Sound catalog, if I recall, and it was saying, no longer will you need vinyl. You can actually plug your laptop into your turntables, and then MP3s can be encoded via a vinyl. And I thought, this is the future.
Right.
This is it right here.
Right.
And I got really excited about it. And if you can recall at the time, I mean, we all had these, crates and walls and just rooms full of vinyl records. Sure. At this point,
those CD books.
Oh yeah, the flip,
yes,
right. And I remember having this collection that I spent probably, the first 5-10 years of my career, collecting. And this box was something outrageous. It was like $1,500 or just something out of the box. And I said, okay, well, I can't afford this. So what am I going to do? I'm going to sell my records. And I sold all of my records.
Wow.
And I remember calling the guy on Pro Sound, the 1-800 number, to order it. And I'm explaining to this guy, the story of, of how I was able to save up this money. And before he added to cart and purchase for me, he paused and he said, "Are you sure about this?"
Oh, damn.
The guy selling
the guy who's selling it to me is like, you do realize this is a
and
beta.
those guys work on commission, by the
way. and he was really almost trying to talk me out of it. But by then it was too late, and I'd sold all of my vinyl to get this. It was the Final Scratch box.
That's right.
Final Scratch. And this is way before Serato.
Oh, before the SL1. Oh, okay. Wow.
Way before.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I don't remember that thing.
I remember there was a guy that came to our office with it and did a demonstration. Yeah. And one of the things you just said there, Aaron, is that it shows the difference between you and I. When you first saw it, you said you were excited.
Yes.
When I first saw it, I was scared as shit.
But why? Why?
Because it was just another step in technology. And, if there's a decade between you and I, maybe it's the age difference or whatever. But I mean, I felt the same way when I went from vinyl to CD. It was an unknown technology. I was scared about it. And I was slow to make the change, and I eventually did. And then I was grateful I did. Yeah. I was slow to make the change from CD to MP3 because again, I was afraid. Yeah. And when I finally did, I'm like, shit, why didn't I do that sooner? So I'm sure I will be one of the last DJs to start streaming their music. And when I do, maybe I'll say, why didn't I do this all along?
I hope you change your mind.
The fright factor, Mike, comes from it's because it's such a low barrier to entry now. Like anybody can get a Spotify.
That
you don't think so?
Scare me. That doesn't scare me, Joe, because I've always believed that my talent will separate me.
I agree with that.
So I'm not afraid of that. What I'm afraid of is buffering. And I mean, I know I can't put it any more blatantly than that.
Sure.
It would scare the shit out of me to be playing a bride and groom's wedding
first
song.
dance.
Or the song that she, to me, and you know what's an even more nervous moment to me? The song that she walks down the aisle to.
Or the first dance or something.
I hit play on that, and I just go, please get down the aisle, please get down the aisle.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And meanwhile, I have 2 copies of it playing off of 2 different computers, but I'm still nervous as hell.
Sure.
So thinking that I'm streaming that song from a cloud somewhere and counting on the 150 cell phones in the room not blocking my signal.
Right.
I don't. You're gonna have to explain to me, Aaron, how to get over that fear.
Same conversation I had with the DJs who thought I was absolutely crazy for buying this box. They said, "This, you've got to be kidding me! You just ruined your career because you sold your entire collection.
And
this is never going to take off."
That apartment in Tennessee.
Yeah. And then moving on up.
This is never going to take off, they said. And so the box finally arrived at my house in the middle of Montana. Literally no Best Buy within a 50-mile radius. And so it finally arrives via UPS, and I plug it into my computer. Guess what? It didn't work. Okay. Not the specs, not the RAM. It didn't, didn't have the system requirements. So I had to drive 50 miles to the nearest Radio Shack and then buy RAM. And then I thought that would work. Nope. Next thing you know, I had to buy another computer to make it work.
Wow.
That didn't work. Mike, I'm telling you, I went through, I kid you not, 10 PCs just to get it to barely work. I went through 10 computers because my lifeline depended on it.
And that didn't make you want to give up, because I would have given up long before that.
Well, again,
at that point, what's he going to go back to?
I guess I would have bought my
There was
record.
no turning back. And so
find the meth head that bought all your records.
And so
sorry, shout out Montana and the meth problem.
Right, Big Sky. What?
Right.
This analogy is perfect for the era of streaming, because we've advanced so much. You know, no longer are we bringing crates of records. No longer do we have the sleeves of CDs. Now it's all MP3s. We're living in a day and age where MP3s will be coming to an end. I know this is a scary sound. I know that but you have to realize, though.
So, Aaron, no, explain that to you. When you say coming to an end, you mean no new ones, correct? I mean, no one's ever going to take. There's never going to be a time where I can't find a technology to play my existing MP3s. Is there, or do you predict that?
That will be just like, you know, having a record player back at the house to play vinyl. There's always going to be that ability to, you know, cassette players are still there. I mean, not many people use them, but the era of the MP3 is going to either end or change dramatically, and it's already there. You have to consider that, you know, I think we are the only profession that desires the MP3. I mean, how many people are actually going out and buying iTunes singles?
Yeah,
not very much.
No.
Yeah, they're streaming.
Well,
right?
I shouldn't say that. Country fans. Country music is the only music that really is still purchased now.
I believe it.
Most fan bases have moved on to some kind of streaming service, whether it's Spotify or Pandora or whatever. Yeah, you're right. Very, very few people buy.
Or generational. I cannot get my parents to understand the streaming concept.
Yeah.
100%. So everyone is making that shift on the public scale. I mean, not everyone's going out and buying CDs like they used to. They're streaming. Probably you went for your workout today, Mike, and you were what? You're probably streaming and listening on your phone, right?
I streamed Howard Stern. Yeah.
There you go. Oh, nice. I love that. What's happened is we have to go back maybe 10 or 15 years ago when Napster arrived. I mean, that was the nail in the coffin for record labels. And you have to consider that they fought and they continue to fight. They went after the IP, they went after the servers, they went after the domain owners. You know, every record label was trying to attack from different angles to get people from stop bootlegging. And, you know, you have to consider that the more we consumed that kind of media, the more record labels were missing out. And we wonder why music sounds so terrible today and the quality is so crap, because they don't have any money. They're running out of the money. They can't afford huge productions. I mean, you already remember that scene in Walk the Line where Johnny Cash, or the mock Johnny Cash, is, you know, getting every single instrument in the room. You know, we need more cowbell, more you know, orchestras. I mean, you don't have those major productions anymore because they're out of money. And so that might be the reason why the quality of music is starting to dip. So record labels are pulling their music back into their house. Now they no longer need the DJ. Record labels used to rely on the DJs because we were the tastemakers. We were the ones who broke the new music. Now this brand new shiny toy comes along called streaming, and they're like, oh, okay, so now we can start to pull this music back into our gardened wall and leak them out either via singles purchase or streaming, and that's how they're making their money again. And you're starting to see this happen. I'm not going to name any names because there's lawyers probably listening today, but there are record labels that are realizing this and pulling these songs from record pools. If you try to search for particular artists on record pools, they're gone. Why? Because now the record labels finally, after 15 years, own the music again, and this is going to shift the way we DJ forever.
But also can't, I mean, you know, going back to Mike's original point, you know, I can hit the download button on Spotify on my phone, and those files or some way they actually go on the phone. So in other words, I get on the plane and put it in airplane mode. I can still listen to every song I have on Spotify.
Do you count that as streaming as a DJ?
Right. That's
Aaron?
what I was going to ask Aaron.
So we see the future in the sense that you can click that little button and cache it. You're not downloading it per se. You're just hosting a little file that allows you to have access to it. So while DJ software hasn't integrated that yet, probably because of these legal reasons, we can't own the song, but we can certainly keep it from buffering. And so I'm waiting for that breakthrough. And this might be one of the reasons why I'm moving to Music Row, because I want to be on the inside of these stores. I want to learn about, what the next evolution is, so I can, repeat it back to you guys. But I believe that if there is a way that we can cache the files and then be able to mix them, Mike won't have to worry about that song buffering or stuttering.
Or the internet going out in the venue or whatever.
Right. And I don't know when that's going to happen. I don't know if it's going to happen. But what it really feels like to me is that the record labels are not caring about DJs anymore.
That's interesting.
Yeah, that doesn't shock me, Aaron. I think you pointed out, yes, the streaming services definitely provide them with the feedback that they used to get from DJs and record pools. They don't need that anymore. They bypassed us with that. Right. But I still, I don't know. I don't see a future where they don't sell MP3s anymore. Not just for DJs, but for the small proportion of consumer that still wants it. Why would they stop selling them? That I don't understand.
It's not that they won't stop selling it.
I'll let you finish, but they never stopped selling vinyl. Even though vinyl is an outdated, technology, they always can. And now vinyl actually grows a little bit each year, mainly because it was down so far in sales. But it's not like they never said. Well, I guess they did it with them with 8-tracks, right? I don't even think but they still produce stuff on vinyl. So why wouldn't they, even though it's a smaller percentage that buys MP3s, why would they ever stop?
Well, they won't. And again, we're talking about a totally different perspective in terms of the DJ versus the public consumer. Yes, I think forever we'll be able to download, let's say, for example, Harry Styles' Watermelon Sugar. You're going to get that downloaded.
So I can spend my $1.19 and still buy it, and I'll put air quotes around own it, have the MP3. I can back it up to a different hard drive, that type of thing.
I believe so.
Whose
but
cat
again,
is meowing, by the way? Is that
yours?
That's
his cat.
That's my cat.
I didn't know Joe ever. I'll get my dog in here if we want to go.
If you can see the live stream, here's Spinderella.
Cinderella?
Spinderella.
Oh, of course it's Spinderella. So, all right, so if the record labels are never going to stop selling MP3s, then isn't the streaming DJ always going to be an option, not a? You're making it sound like it's a predetermined outcome here, but it's not. If there's dinosaurs like me that still want to download songs and have it on a hard, I mean, when I DJ, my computer's in airplane mode.
Sure.
So because I just feel better that way, or maybe not airplane mode, whatever it's called.
Wi-Fi
Wi-Fi's
off.
Offline, right?
So I don't think there's ever going to be a future where there's not that option. Now, maybe you're smarter for doing it your way, but if I still want to be the dinosaur, can't I still be the dinosaur?
You certainly can. And again, we're talking about what the average consumer purchases. Going back to Watermelon Sugar, how does that start out? It starts out with him singing. There's no intro, outro, and you're going to be hard pressed to find a remix, let alone an amazing, bootlegged mashup that the record labels aren't going to touch. Now, when they're going to try and keep their music to themselves, and the scary part for the DJ is that the remixes are going to come to a slow crawl. They're no longer going to have those intro, outro versions. I'm hoping they do. That's why I'm putting myself dead center in all of this mess, because I want to know what the next step is. The next company that comes along and says, we are going to be a streaming, cacheable, downloadable, whatever you call it, solution for the DJ with intro, outro, with remixes, with bootlegs and all that, that's going to be the game changer if it ever happens. But the issue we're dealing with is all these lawyers are now saying, this is derivative. This is the original. We don't want you messing with this original song. So yes, Mike, to answer your question, we'll still be able to download them, but will we be able to mix them? Hard to say now.
Okay, so a dinosaur like me now has to improve his mixing skills, because I certainly need those remixes to help me with a clean 32 in and things like that. But haven't white label remixes always been a thing? And do they really put a dent in what record labels sell? I mean, there's always been bootleg remixes being done, right?
And I think that's what's going to happen. So to say that, this is the end of the DJ era is, pretty far-fetched. What did we always do? Even back in the early rave scene, we broke into warehouses. We went against the common law.
Right.
And we brought in white labels of songs with no credit whatsoever, and we played them out to the crowd. That's what's going to happen. I mean, ultimately, these record pools or distributors are just going to move to an offshore account like a Swiss bank, and they're just going to have to do them underground. That's the only way that I believe DJs will be able to have creativity and be able to, give different versions of songs. It's going to have to go literally underground.
I'll be honest with you. So I played last weekend for the first time in 164 days, and I needed some songs, and I couldn't find them on the pools. And so I bought some stuff off of iTunes, and I bought some stuff off of Amazon Music, and I had not been on in a while. And people in the chat on Facebook, there's about 40 people watching live, are saying the same thing. It is damn near impossible to find music now. Not to find it, but they keep, every time you click on something, they keep trying to steer you to Apple Music or Amazon Play or whatever they call it.
Right.
I had to download a song during my gig on Saturday night, and going to iTunes, I found it easily.
Sure.
Went to buy it, and they wanted me to stream it. But
absolutely,
I mean, it's just a couple of extra clicks.
I know, but I'm saying you can see their process now. Used to be buy, $1.29, $1.20. Everything now seems to try and take you to their streaming service.
Right.
Well, they probably arranged an affiliate agreement. So if they're directing you to iTunes, if this third party is sending you there, they're probably getting a small commission.
No, I went straight to when I'm at a gig and I need to download a song. I go to iTunes,
same.
I download it to my phone, then I put my phone in airplane mode and play it off my phone.
Oh, interesting.
That's my process when I have to download. And I did it twice on Saturday night because I got requests for songs I didn't have.
Sure.
So
everything. Go ahead,
I don't see a future where that's not viable. That's all.
Right.
Sure.
It is. Everything is so speed of light, though. Like, my sons are 15 and 12, and I use an iPod for a backup, and sometimes I use it for the ceremony if I'm only just playing a couple of songs. And they walked in the other night, and I was getting ready for that show and was prepping my stuff, and I had my things laid out and everything's charging, and they both were like, "What is this?" Bro, it's an iPod. What do you mean? I was like, "It's an iPod. What are you talking about?" And they were like, "I know, but what is it?" And I was like, it plays music. Like, what? How do y'all not remember this? Like, you're 12 and 15, but you forget that they've had phones for so long. They were probably little kids when I first got that thing. They never really saw it, sitting down. It's always in my DJ bag. I never really used it for much else, other than maybe taking a run or something. And now,
I think that's what really differentiates my point of view versus Mike. And I love this healthy debate because, it's two polar opposite opinions. I get excited about seeing this next evolution, whatever that next step is. I'm going to be
Mike's scared. Mike's hiding under the covers.
So allow me to be the beta tester for you, and I'll report back on, the moment I know it's rock solid for you, I'm going to pass it down to Mike, because I've seen this before. A lot of people who have just held on to the old ways per se, and that still hold on to them. I really want you to, because get ready to pivot at any moment, but also be prepared for that next evolution. Right. Yeah. And so if you go to, for example, Crate Hackers, you'll be able to see that you can download the MP3s while you still can. And then on the right-hand side of the display, you're going to have links that go straight to all available Spotify, Tidal, anything you could imagine, because we're trying to be everywhere at once because we don't know where it's going to go. We don't know what's going to shift. I mean, as we know now, if anybody's watching this, you may have noticed Spotify completely cut the line with DJ software. You cannot mix Spotify on anything anymore, and that used to be
never used to, but one of my DJs was railing about that recently. He used to do it all the time.
It was on that DJay, that iPad app was really good for like a backup scary moment.
I use that all the time
God, I'm just thinking out loud here. I wish we had somebody from Promo Only on to fill us in on from their point of view, because I know they have a very tight relationship with the record label. So
they really do.
I don't know if they would be able to offer some insight or agree or disagree with you here, Aaron. I'd be interested to hear from Nick.
I had a conversation. I went to lunch with the boys at Promo Only here in Nashville, and it was enlightening. At first, it was a how do I even begin? I mean, he didn't like me to start. He did not like me. He immediately put me into a a category of, okay, he's hanging out with these illegal bootleggers, he's a hacker. And again, we use the term hacker very loosely, but we decided that, you know, just having that name alone stirred up a lot.
Well, you put it into your title.
Yeah, it made a lot of excitement.
It's better than Perfect DJ Playlist. Come on.
We never would have had this hardcore of a group if it was
Death Row Records was kind of telling you where they came from. So.
You know, at first it started off with like, you know, I don't like you. I don't like who you're standing for or what you're doing. But here, explain to me what your service is about.
Right.
My cat. And I finally just decided. I just threw my cat. I'm sorry. Into a beanbag. The cat.
I was going to say, Aaron, it's hard to be the nice guy here while you're throwing your cat. You literally were like, "Hey, I'm not the fault here," and then
there's a beanbag right over there. She's fine.
Now y'all have to watch this on video. They always land on their feet out here. Gosh, you got me all confused now. Back to the meeting with Promo Only. We were just trying to explain what my platform was, and he dove into it, and he's like, "Okay, wow, this is different. This is impressive. You actually are, you know, legal in the sense that you're doing a lot of things correct. Here's what you're doing. Here's what could be changed. Here's how you can adapt for the future." And I think the part that really stuck with me the most during that meeting was he said, "Listen, the reason why these record labels are starting to come after these DJs and these record pools is because right now you're just literally paying how much for, you know, a month for particular record pools? $40, $60, and they're cannibalizing the industry, and so they need to put the money back into the artist's hands."
Yeah, I put up a comment on Facebook Saturday night when I had to download a song, and I made a joke because the guy gave me a $2 tip. But somebody somebody commented, you know, you could have just downloaded it from YouTube for free. And I mean, I commented, I happen to think, and maybe this is another dinosaur type of personality or feeling, but I think the artists is due their couple of cents for, you know what I mean? I'd rather leave, as long as that goes back to your question about Napster. I think what Napster did was beat the record labels to showing us how to download music, because you notice as soon as Napster and its predecessors became obsolete, iTunes stepped in and people downloaded tons of music, had no problem paying for it, with some exceptions. So I don't necessarily think Napster was about stealing music. What Napster was about was the ease of getting music. If the record labels hadn't fought it for so long and had just realized that, wow, this is what the consumer wants. The consumer doesn't want to have to go to Best Buy to buy a record. They want to click a button and get it downloaded. That's where the record labels spent a decade fighting the wrong battle. That's right. Instead of saying, oh, this isn't about getting it for free. It's about the ease of it.
Well, again, like I was saying, they were going after the IP addresses and all that. What they're now doing is just going straight to the individual. They finally found their way. They said, okay, listen, here's, you either pay this amount of money or we're going to shut you down. And so that's why you're starting to see all this sort of crumble. Yeah, it's sad. And this is the beginning. I hate to say it, this is the beginning. This is
the concept of a record label is done, man. My son read me an article the other day. If Drake went independent, he would make $600 million a year, and the record labels would effectively be out of business. That's one artist. If he took all of his music and said, "I'm now independent," and his contract is up soon, I think. Like, he's going to basically be a free agent. He would make $600 million a year, and the labels would be effectively.
I heard Prince say once he made more money off of Emancipation, which was the first album he released independently, than he did off of Purple Rain. Now I would argue, and who knows if that's true or not. That was just Prince said it during a concert, so it was a stage announcement. Everybody cheered. But I would argue, if it weren't for the popularity of Purple Rain, he wouldn't have sold 1 million copies of Emancipation. So I think artists need the record labels early in their career to launch them into superstardom. And then after that, these record labels either need to renegotiate them with them and give them a much higher percentage, or they're going to lose them. Because once you create a superstar, they no longer need your platform now.
Yeah.
You know?
Awesome.
Very well put.
Hey, listen, before we wrap, Joe, congratulations on the New York Times. That was
man.
What an accomplishment, Joe.
That was crazy, man. Totally. Like, it came out about.
Did you know you were going to be in it? Did they interview you for it?
Yes, I did interview for it weeks and weeks ago. And I'm not exactly sure how the writer found me. I think I had a quote in the New York Times for something totally unrelated years or earlier this year, maybe about weddings or something. Don't remember that even coming out. And so we were out to dinner Thursday and somebody posted the link. So I thought it was just the digital version. So I reached out to the writer. I said, hey, is this in the paper? Like, I'd be curious to see if this is actually in the, and she goes, I don't even know, but I'll let you know on Sunday. If it comes out in the paper, it'll be on Sunday's edition. And sure enough, Bonacisi, like first thing Sunday morning, I guess, went to a little bodega in New York City and laid it out on the counter. And I mean,
so cool.
Dude, I was super proud of you. And I was also slightly sad because I thought to myself, if my dad was still alive, he was the one that would have called me because he read that newspaper.
Oh, yeah.
He read that newspaper. New York Times was his paper,
front to back,
cover to cover. And I guarantee he would have called and said, hey,
don't you know this guy?
Isn't Joe Bunn your the guy you do the podcast? I guarantee that would have happened.
Oh, man.
As proud as I was also like, oh, dad would have definitely spotted.
He definitely would have called me out.
Kudos, dude. That was great.
Congratulations,
cool.
man. Seriously, that's great.
Awesome picture, awesome quote.
Great.
If anyone doesn't know what we're talking about, go to Joe's, I'm sure your personal page.
It's on my
right?
social.
Share the link?
Yep.
Yeah.
And it's on my socials. And I shared the link to the article. It was a really good article. But yeah, thank you, man. Well, guys, this was good. Everybody watching live on Facebook, thank you so much. Again, if you haven't joined the PhDJ podcast discussion group on Facebook, jump over there and do that. And then from henceforth, the last 2 or 3 I just added to the vault, and I'll be adding this to the vault as well. So the video versions are now inside the DJ's vault for all of you awesome members. So thank you, guys.
Before we say goodbye, I need to see the cat to make sure you didn't kill it.
The cat is not talking to me right now. But it's alive, I assure you.
You better post a picture of that cat later because I'm not convinced that you didn't. Have a great week, everybody.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you, guys.